look at his watch to know he was 10 minutes early. Being late to a meeting with the commander-in-chief of the combined fleet was inconceivable. Both men saluted. "Hey," they said in unison. The sailor who'd spoken before opened the door for him. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto worked at a plain pine desk, nothing like the ornate wooden dreadnought in King David Kalakaua's library on the second floor of the palace, the one General Yamashita used. Genda thought that most unfair. Yamamoto outranked Yamashita and should have taken over the finer work area. But he hadn't done it. He was in Hawaii only temporarily and hadn't wanted to displace the permanent garrison commander. Yamamoto got to his feet as Genda walked in. They exchanged bows. Yamamoto was only slightly taller than Genda, but had a wrestler's stocky, wide-shouldered body. Sit down, he said now. "How are you feeling? Better, I hope. You look stronger than you did, and you have more color, too." "I'm much improved, sir. Thank you," Genda said, as he did sit. He had had pneumonia when the Japanese Navy squared off against the U.S. forces trying to retake Hawaii. Despite the illness, he'd come up from Akagi's sickbay to the bridge to do what he could to help the Japanese carriers against their American opposite numbers. He didn't take credit for the victory, but he'd taken part in it. More than a month after the fight, he was starting to feel like his old self, though he hadn't got there yet. "Glad to hear it. I was worried about you," Yamamoto said with gruff affection. Genda inclined his head. Most of a generation younger than the admiral, he was Yamamoto's protege. He had planned the biggest part of the Pearl Harbor operation and the invasion of Hawaii. He had planned them, and Yamamoto had rammed the plans through, turning them into reality. And now, they were meeting in the basement of Iolani Palace. "The Americans have been very quiet since we stopped them," Genda remarked. "Hi," Yamamoto nodded. "I think they will stay quiet a while longer, too. I'm going to take this opportunity to go back to Japan. Now that Hawaii is settled for the time being, we have to talk with the army about what to do next. Australia, India, and of course, they'll want to take another bite out of China, and they'll expect our help with that." "So they will," Genda agreed. The Americans had offered to keep selling oil and scrap metal to Japan if she got out of China. War, even a risky war like the one against the USA, had seemed preferable to the humiliation of bowing to another country's will. Did the Yankees tell Britain to leave India and her African colonies? Not likely. Did the Yankees hesitate to send in Marines when one of their little neighbors got out of line? That was even less likely. But they thought they could order Japan around. Bitterly, Genda said, "We don't have round eyes. We don't have white skin." "True enough." Yamamoto nodded again, following Genda's train of thought. "But we've shown the world that that doesn't matter." He set both hands on the cheap pine desk. As a young officer, he'd lost the first two fingers of his left hand at the Battle of Tsushima in the Russo-Japanese War. He'd lost two fingers, but the Russians lost most of the fleet that sailed halfway around the world to meet the Japanese. And they lost the war. Genda had had his first birthday in 1905. Like any of his countrymen, though, he knew what the Russo-Japanese War meant. It was the first modern war in which people of color beat whites. And now the Japanese were beating the Americans and the British and the Australians, too. Yamamoto said, "I hope I don't have to come back too soon. American radio broadcasts make it very plain the United States is not abandoning Hawaii. I hoped the USA would. I hoped our victories would make them see they could not win, and so make peace. But that hasn't happened. Karma, nay? They have more people and more resources and more factories, many more than we do. My guess is that they will try to bring all of them into play. That will take some time." "We will be building too," Genda said stoutly. "Hi," Yamamoto said once more. But that was only acknowledgement, not agreement. For he went on, "They can build faster than we can. I hope what we have done here in the Eastern Pacific has bought us the time to take and use the resources we need."